my life is the miracle. Every child has a story of God's love to share. Shalom world, tune into God's love story.
Hello, welcome to Shalom World TV. My name is Emma Sanchi.
I'm Nicholas.
Maeve.
Angela.
Leah. This is 7 Tier,
The program where we explore the ways that Mother Mary felt pain
And learn how to ask her for help with our own pain.
through prayer and art.
In this episode, we look at Mary's 6th tier, the Pietà.
The P.A. what?
Pietà is an Italian word, meaning pity.
It's when, after Jesus died on the cross, his body was put in Mary's arms and she held him one last time.
The prophet Isaiah says, "Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should have no compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget, yet I will not forget you."
That had to be so hard for Mary to hold Jesus' body after he died.
Holding her dead son.
Have you guys ever felt grief for a loved one?
I felt grief when my cousin died.
I felt grief when my friend's dog died.
I felt grief when my Grammy died.
I felt grief when a family friend who was like a grandpa to us died.
Leah, you have a friend who went through a painful loss.
Yes, that's right. My friend Maria loved to go with her older sister Lucy to visit their great-grandmother at her nursing home. Maria always loved seeing her great-grandmother break into a big smile every time they entered her room. And she had so much fun running through the halls while her older sister Lucy pushed her great-grandmother in her wheelchair. Then they'd all eat lunch together, chattering excitedly. Her great-grandmother couldn't eat sweets, so she always gave her cookie away. She always gave it to Lucy. This always bothered Maria. Am I too young for a cookie? Then they'd return to the room, listening to their grandmother's stories, laughing at her jokes, with Lucy sitting next to her and Maria sitting on the bed. Then their great-grandmother always had them pray a memorare. Mother Mary always holds me close, and I want her to hold you too. Finally, it would be time to leave. So they'd say goodbye, give big hugs and kisses, and go home, waiting anxiously for the next visit. Well, one day, the sisters were told there would be no more visits, because at the wake, it was hard for Maria to see her great-grandmother in the casket so motionless. But she almost had a smile on her face, which made Maria a little happier. Then at the funeral, with everyone standing around the grave in long black coats, it felt like a heavy blanket was tugging at Maria's heart. Everyone was given a rose to throw on the top of the casket. Everyone did this one by one. Everyone except Lucy. Maria saw this and said to her sister, "Lucy." Lucy didn't answer. Maria tried again. "Lucy, I know you don't want to, but we have to." Then Maria got an idea. "Lucy, why don't we pray memorare so Mother Mary will hold great-grandmother close?" And Lucy gave a tiny nod. And so they prayed together. And then, after they had finished, they held each other in a tight hug and waited for their parents to come get them and take them home.
Mother Mary held Maria and Lucy close while they were grieving their great-grandmother. Let's explore how we can use art to understand and heal when we are grieving.
Good. Okay, we're going to do the 6th tier. Does anyone know which one that is?
When Mary is holding him?
When Mary is holding Jesus' body. Do you know what that's called? It's an Italian word.
The Pietà.
The Pietà. Very good. It's Italian for pity. Wonderful. And now the theme for this tier is grief. Why do we think that has anything to do with Mary holding Jesus' body? Yeah.
Because she feels like she doesn't know what to do without him, and she misses him.
That's right. Yeah, and she misses him, and he's dead now. He died, and now she's holding him. Yeah.
I think she's relief feeling like emotional pain since he was her only son.
That's
So
right.
I feel like she had a lot on her back.
Very good.
I have no husband, no son. I'm alone. So I think she kind of felt like left alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be really hard to be like, why God? When you have like no one else. I feel like she must have had.
Yeah.
She must have had a lot of patience.
A lot of patience. Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, we have an art project that we are going to do related to grief. Isabella, would you like to take us away?
Okay, so the materials we're using are finger paints and a canvas. We're using this because like Emma said, grief is messy and it's hard. And even though you try to keep going, you get slowed down and you need to heal. And so it might be messy, but it's like abstract and it's art. It'll end up being beautiful.
Right, and when you have to kind of work through the grief, it may not have much sense or form when you're getting through it, but eventually you'll work it all out with time and with patience. All right, so why don't we all select an apron?
She's Picasso.
That's a Jackson Pollock.
No, I'm Picasso.
She's Picasso 3.0.
Yeah, I'm Picasso 2.0.
Wow, guys.
All right.
She's Picasso.
Okay, Mr. Picasso, you want to explain what's going on here?
Okay, so this kind of represents like the mixed feelings, like the feelings of grief and loss, but then like all of them at the same time, and how they'll kind of like all muddle together, and like sadness and grief and loss, and like that this person missing from my world, and knowing I wouldn't see them in this lifetime. So that's kind of what led to this.
Wow, that's really powerful, because sometimes you don't know when one emotion ends and the next one starts, right?
Yep.
And it's just a big tumbling mess.
Like
Who'd like to go next?
All right, now I will, but Maeve, can you please hold up the canvas because I'm a little sticky at the moment here. Thank you. Okay,
That's beautiful.
So this picture kind of represents like kind of like the handprint is like my grandmother who died, and my grandfather, and so then I just have like the shock, and then it's just the rings. Here, it's like this. Thank you. Sorry, I got behind. So the rings are like different feelings which I had. Mm-hmm. So as I slowly the first two were just mostly shock, like going to the funeral and everything else, and then as I slowly started to make my way out, it was just a little more sadness and like stuff like that. But at the end, the purple is kind of like hope, kind of like he's in they're in heaven and everything. So that's kind of like what I did.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
So mine, I just kind of did like a bunch of emotions. Like there's anger, there's stress, there's joy, there's sadness. It's just like showing a bunch of emotions that we can have. And the main one is like grief is what I'm using purple. So that's why it's in the center to show
there's grief, but there's a bunch of other emotions too, and it might take a while, but you need to just learn to accept it because you know that they're in a better place.
In the middle, I made like a watermelon kind of color, and it's like everything's like all scrambled up. Like after it happened, it's like really like surprising, and I'm like all over the place, and I don't know what to do.
The confusion, yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. How you doing, Maeve?
So I'm about to put on the hand print.
Okay.
She's following my footsteps. So
In the middle there, it's kind of like, I drew a heart in the middle, which is kind of like, so it's like my heart, but it's like, there's a bunch of like other emotions too, that's like all around it. So it's like, it's very like confusing. And then, like, you just, on the top, like, just to show that it's like my heart.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you.
This handprint needs a
Okay, I think we all need to show off our beautifully messy hands.
yeah.
Let's see.
Wait, hands? Oh,
Hands.
mine are beautifully clean.
Just like us, Mother Mary knows what grief feels like.
Let us ask Mary to help us when we feel deep pain for the loss of a loved one.
You held your child up to your breast. His hair you stroked, his cheek caressed. His body rocked, a cry suppressed. A lullaby with crooning stressed. The Christ our King, your baby boy. Dead in your arms, your cause for joy. Show us, Mary, how to sing when grief has severed everything.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of 7 Tears.
Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye!